Welcome back, and we start in the Octagon. UFC 229 is just around the corner. Saturday, October 6th, and the main event is being touted as the biggest fight in MMA history. That's when lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov puts his title and his 26-0-0 record on the line against former champion, the notorious Conor McGregor. One man that was at the press conference yesterday, UFC content editor for TSN, Aaron Bronsteter, joins us now. Aaron, tell us about the press conference, because it did not lack fireworks.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. Yeah, the press conference really delivered. I mean, Conor McGregor was at his best. Did he rattle Khabib? I think he did. I think when you look at the amount of research that he did about Chechnya and Pakistan, I think it actually blew Khabib away that he had all of this information about Khabib and Khabib's personal life. He did make it a little bit too personal. Dana White called it the darkest press conference he's ever been a part of, because he brought family into it, he brought religion into it, he brought politics into it, and did really whatever he could to get into the head of Khabib.
Now, Aaron, let's look at the fight itself. Conor loves to strike, Khabib a grappler, a wrestler, a mauler. Who is going to win this fight? And talk about the fighting styles. This is sure to be a classic. How do you see it?
This is going to be a very interesting fight. You know, when you look at the two styles, it's a huge contrast, because you've got somebody who's an absolutely elite grappler. I mean, Khabib's like flypaper. If he grabs a hold of you, he's not letting go until he has you down on the ground, and he's laying heavy punches on you. And whether he does that for 5 rounds or whether he's able to grab a submission, all of those scenarios are very possible against Conor. But then you look at Conor, and his primary weapon is that left hand, the Celtic cross, as Robin Black calls it. And if he is able to initiate that, use that big left early on in the fight, sting Khabib with it, and make Khabib think twice about using his wrestling, this could be a very, very short night for Khabib. All
right, let's talk about McGregor himself. Shortly after the press conference, UFC President Dana White announces McGregor and the UFC have signed a new fight deal, originally announced for 8 fights. Now it comes out it's a 6-fight deal. Is Conor McGregor once again committed to the UFC?
I think before we see what happens with Conor, we need to see how this fight goes, because Khabib could embarrass Conor. I mean, he's the type of guy that imposes his will on people to a point where they go down and they can't get up. And if that happens in this fight, I don't know if Conor's going to want to fight again. If he does get humiliated in that kind of sense, and Khabib is the type of fighter that can do that to you. The UFC, I think that they have entered business together. From what I heard, he's got an 8-fight contract, like you mentioned, but also for every one of his fights, the Octagon's going to have the logo of Proper 12 Whiskey, his new whiskey venture, on the Octagon, which is really uncharted territory for fighters in the UFC. It's not co-promotion, but it's pretty close.
All right, thank you so much. That's Aaron Bronsteter, UFC content editor for TSN. Khabib, Conor, I can't wait. Back to you guys.
I know a lot about you as well. You keep going out, Chucky. Let me take my picture. How's Noah? How's Noah?